Hey folks, this is EJS from Thrivality.com, and I'm super jazzed to have Jim Poole, CEO of NuCalm and Solus Life Sciences, back on the podcast today to talk about Ignite and their new deep sleep track. So Ignite is a track that takes you from waking beta to high gamma, so you can laser focus and perform at a very high level. So you'd use it, as you start your day or before a workout. And then they have these new amazing deep sleep tracks, which sort of coach your brain over time to get more deep sleep on a regular basis. But before we get into the new tracks, we give a little bit of a recap on the history of NuCalm and how trauma and addiction in Dr. Holloway's patients led him to on this 31-year journey to actually create what became NuCalm. So we talk about NuCalm, why we have an epidemic of stress and how it affects the brain, in particular the HPA axis, so the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis there. An overview of the original NuCalm stress and recovery tracks, which I use every day, twice a day, without fail, and how they suspend the brain in sort of this alpha theta brainwave pattern, which is sort of the place where the body and the brain can actually heal and recalibrate and release stress and trauma. How NuCalm works every time, without fail, and how NuCalm increases resiliency, right, enabling you to move through life, with greater ease over time. Like I look back 2 years ago and see now how I handle stress. It's totally different. And then we do dive deep into the new Ignite tracks and how, again, that takes the brain from, sort of waking beta to high gamma and basically turns on what's called the warrior brain for intense focus and high performance. We also cover how and when to use Ignite and when not to use it, particularly after 7 p.m. Then we shift to the new deep sleep tracks, what they are and how they work to guide, again, the brain in sort of this deep sleep pattern that is the most restorative part of sleep at night. We cover, do you need to use headphones or not with the deep sleep tracks? And then do you need to use the NuCalm biosignaling disc, which you use with the existing NuCalm tracks? Do you need to use those with the sleep tracks? And then again, we also cover, again, as I mentioned, how I use NuCalm twice a day, every day, without fail. And it is a huge part of my health optimization and recovery stack. So enjoy the podcast with Jim. He's a fantastic pool person. He has a great, Rolodex of people. I'm always impressed at it, not only his performance, but just his humility and sincere desire to help humanity. So thanks. Hey folks, I just wanted to draw your attention to 3 things that I use and do every day without fail. The first is NuCalm, the subject of today's podcast. Do you want to reduce stress, increase your capacity for what life throws at you, and improve sleep? Without fail, 2 times every day, I use NuCalm to reset my nervous system, optimize sleep, and catch a second wind so I can fully show up in work and life. So you can learn more at NuCalm.com and use ES10OFF for 10% off a subscription. Again, that's ES10OFF for 10% off. Secondly, I use Healthy Gut and their digestive enzymes, pure butyrate, and HCl Guard every day with each of my meals. And they've been the best digestive enzymes, butyrate, and HCl products that I have used, hands down. I only recommend things that I use on a daily basis. So you can visit healthygut.com and use the discount code THRIVE for 50% off your first order. Lastly, are you looking to improve your energy and protect against EMF? What if you had a tuning fork of sorts for your home and your body that enhanced your energy, raised your vibration, and helped mitigate the effects of EMF and other environmental stressors? Well, my good friends over at Leela Q have created an amazing line of personal wearables and home units that will strengthen and enhance your life force to amazing new levels. I find I continue to need less supplements and other external support as I raise my own energy and mitigate the effects of environmental stressors like EMF. So there's a hyperlink in the show notes today that you can use for 15% off. So enjoy, and now onto the podcast. Thanks. All right, folks, this is EJS from Thrivality.com, and I am super excited to have Jim Poole, CEO of NuCalm and Solus Life Sciences that makes NuCalm, back on the podcast today to talk about their new application and their Ignite program, which helps you perform like Wolverine, I guess, whether for work or athletics, and then how you can sleep and recover like a bear, just super deep. And then what's new with the app and the subscription program. So Jim, thanks so much for being here and giving us some time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So Jim, for those who are not familiar with NuCalm, would love to kind of take it from the top. My understanding is NuCalm is at its core, the core program is an application, right? That's neuroacoustic, that combines with a biosignaling disc you put on your wrist and a sleep mask to kind of suspend the human brain and nervous system between theta and alpha to allow people to better manage stress and heal and recover.
Yes.
But let me let you explain it and augment what I just said.
No, that's a good explanation. And one of the challenges of what we do is that it's really difficult to articulate what theta brainwave feels like. So it challenges us in our human vernacular, which is limited. Many things in life demand experience, right? Words can only articulate so much, whether it's your first intimacy, whether it's your first, great meal, first $100 bottle of wine, doesn't really matter, right? Experience is part of life. And talking about it may be genuine in its intention, but really falls short in the experience itself. So NuCalm is incredible. The more I use it, the more I see the impact it has on humanity, the more I'm just blown away with the profundity of this technology that goes to the core of probably the root cause of anything negative on this planet. Stress is a nefarious, consistent, egoless, persistent aspect of our life, and it will negatively impact every aspect of our life, from our emotional function, stability, patience, and presence, to our physical well-being and disease state, to our sleep, to our desire for drugs and alcohol. And it's absolutely incredible to me just how negative stress is. And in the same time, Eric, it's interesting to me that the human brain, for all its complexities and amazement, has a couple blind spots that limit us in our capacity to understand. We seem wholly incapable of understanding intangibles. If I can't see it, touch it, smell it, feel it, not sure if it's real. But intuitively, we know it's real. We know when we're stressed out and our family is like a little on edge around us because we're impatient, easily triggered, agitated, reactionary. That's not fun. And we know this, and we know we may say things or do things, or our behavior is modified in a manner that creates shame and guilt. And it's just a very strange aspect of life. Stress as in its entirety has so many complexities to it. But I think one of the fascinating aspects of it is your stress is your stress, just like, your desires are your desires, your aspirations are your aspirations. And people are so competitive, and we're constantly comparing ourselves with everyone else because we live a life alone, right? We have ourselves and we have our itty bitty shitty committee that resides behind our eyes. It tells us we're no good, we should be insecure, and we're never going to succeed. So really, if you think about the energy on this earth, there's 7.6 billion people and there's 7.6 itty bitty shitty committees. So there's really 15.2 billion energy sources, right? But what's fascinating, Eric, is this. Your stress, though the external stimulation may be unique to you, the physiological manifestation and how it works inside your body is exactly identical to me and everybody else on earth. It's all the same.
We all internalize stress differently, right? But
we may internalize it different, but here's the sameness. Your central nervous system is designed to protect us in self-preservation. The highest order and force rank of the desire of the central nervous system is to keep us alive. Nothing else matters. So your central nervous system is constantly evaluating our surroundings for familiarity and security. That's why there's no such thing as a second impression. Your first impression, it commands the attention of all your resources to figure out, what is this? Am I safe? In the event that your central nervous system deems there's a threat, real or perceived, it activates the HPA axis, the hypothalamic anterior pituitary adrenal cortex through the amygdala, and this happens in a nanosecond. You don't ask permission. You don't say, hey, we might be in danger, activate the fight or flight. The manifestation of our stress is the exact same in you and me. That's what's fascinating to me.
Mm.
So all of the cascading elements of cortisol and catecholamines and adrenaline and all the blood flow leaving our periphery and going to our visceral organs and our shallowness of breath and our heart palpitating and our cognitive dissociation, it is all the same exact physiological experience for every human on earth.
Mm.
So why do we feel compelled to judge others? Wow, they have cancer, they must be stressed. Yeah, they're stressed, but their stress is no different than yours. It may just be more chronic.
Mm.
So NuCalm was born out of necessity and born out of the intellectual curiosity, perseverance, determination by a man who really flew amongst eagles and I think lived amongst angels. He was a quantum physicist, naturopath, neuroscientist, and I speak to him in his past tense because December 20th at 8:32 p.m. Eastern time, he passed from this world.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was sorry to feel it, but you know, he had a clinical practice in Texas for 40 plus years, and his job was to serve as a sponge and to take on thousands and thousands and thousands of people's pain, suffering from trauma, PTSD, comorbid with addiction. So, as much as I miss him, as much as I wish he were here, I feel a sense of relief for him because the amount of pain and suffering that he assumed and walked around on this earth with is a real heavy burden for any human being to
Yeah,
have.
when you're a healer, you really have to maintain your own healthy space. That's a tall order. Yeah,
So
you've done a great
NuCalm,
job.
yes,
Go ahead, finish your thought.
NuCalm was derived out of a need. Well, what was the need? Serving humanity and serving trauma. Of the 7 diagnosable anxiety disorders, trauma is the furthest continuum. So there's 7 diagnosable anxiety disorders according to DSM-5. But of the furthest continuum and the most difficult profile to live with, it's trauma. And trauma systematically and physiologically changes our brain chemistry and our brain physiology. Most importantly, in looking at a PET scan of a human brain, normal versus traumatized, you'll see 2 really powerful and disturbing areas. Number 1, the hippocampus has shrunken blood flow, so you're stuck in a memory pattern. Number 2, the prefrontal cortex has shrunken blood flow. So cognitively, we get stuck. Now, we've all known people in ourselves to get stuck in a certain pattern where we have this repeated trigger and we can't seem to get out of it. Well, exacerbate that by 100 times, and maybe that's what it's like to live with trauma and this sense of hypervigilance and constantly on edge. That constant on edge leads us to drugs and alcohol because the human brain, the central nervous system, knows the power and the predictability and the speed at which alcohol can resolve my psychic pain today. So if I'm traumatized and I'm just tired of being agitated, I'm tired of not sleeping, I'm tired of perseverating over memories that elicit all this response, and I constantly have my foot on the accelerator, my brain says, hey, Jim, I bet if you go down to the Green Turtle and you get a drink, I bet we can solve this tomorrow. So why don't we go do that? That's kind of how this works. Blake said, listen, I can sit across the table from you. I can listen to your problems. I can engage in eye contact when you don't have the strength and courage to look back at me. I can look at and feel the shame and the energy and the guilt and the confusion and the fear in your soul. And I can give you a narcotic, a central nervous system suppressant, pharmaceutical agent to solve your symptoms. And I can try to engage in cognitive behavioral therapy. But what I'm really doing, Jim, is not really solving the problem at all. And this is where simple mathematics and an equation makes really good sense, where we've kind of been duped. The autonomic nervous system is not the central nervous system. We have 2 different nervous systems. The autonomic nervous system has 2 different sides. It's like a seesaw. It's a zero-sum game. You have the sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress response. You have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest response. But this area of our brain, which is 40 million years evolved and is part of our midbrain, is also part of the reptilian side of our brain and governs human fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. Let me say that again. The autonomic nervous system manages human fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. This is really important because we all battle with all these elements on a continuum. Why would I think that giving me a central nervous system suppressant to address an autonomic nervous system problem is a good way to go about helping people. We are fundamentally flawed in our lack of capability and understanding and humility of the complexity of the brain. And we're not doing anything to help these people. We're condemning them to a life of misery and eventual suicide simply out of fatigue. So that understanding, that passion, and that lack of saying, I'm not dealing with dogma and I'm not dealing with conventional therapy because I'm not going to sit across the table from someone and just literally condemn them to a life of hell. That's what propelled and compelled Dr. Holloway to go on a 31-year journey of invention, discovery, trial and error, pain, confusion, persistence, determination, an amazing, amazing journey to create NuCalm. And NuCalm by itself is not designed as a healer. We're not replacing God or whatever spirituality or religion you believe in. We're simply paying homage to the brilliance of the human body and brain. The body wants to be in balance. Your body, my body, everybody's body on this earth wants to be in balance. It's our monkey mind that constantly is pushing and pushing and pushing and eliciting cortisol and catecholamines and adrenaline that disallows our body to get into that balance. And our culture and kind of the proliferation of all these things in our culture that command this constant perpetual to-do list and expectation and confusion and pain and insecurity. Very few humans, especially in our culture, go to sleep feeling satisfied that they completed their day's tasks.
There's always something more.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That's a shitty way to go about life. That's what NuCalm was designed to do. Allow the body to get into the healing state that it can be. So when you said, hey, this kind of oscillates your brainwave function between alpha and theta and allows the body to heal, that's exactly what this does. Conceptually, it sounds really easy. It's one of the most complex solutions ever created on the planet and validated by the only patents in the world. To manage the human brainwave function in a predictable, safe way is a really tall task. And that's what NuCalm does. We simply slow you down. Much like caffeine increases your brainwave frequency and allows you to think faster, NuCalm is simply slowing you down into this really sweet spot. First, it's alpha, which is 12 hertz to 8 hertz, a slower brainwave form. And that's synonymous with creativity, being in the zone, and being relaxed. Then there's theta, and theta is more difficult to articulate. It's like lucid dreaming in and out of consciousness, but you're levitating just above deep sleep. And in theta, that brainwave function, commensurate with the second stage of sleep, is the only time your cells do two really important things for resilience and health, and that is they clean their toxins. Cell biology is a cell has information to share with another cell, and when we don't clean our toxins, it loses that message. And two, restoring the mitochondria, which is the energy source of that cell. So in that theta brainwave function and the need for deep restorative sleep is this healing zone, and NuCalm simply takes you there in daylight when you invariably don't want to be there, right? That's why we have the eye mask and the biosignal processing disc. But NuCalm is amazing. I know you've been using it for several years. I've been using it for over 12 years on a daily basis. I just did a 20-minute recharge before my prior call to this. And every single time it simply does what it's intended to do.
It's funny. So I've been using it for 2 years now. And I've used it every single day for 2 years without fail. Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, often 2 or 3 times a day. And, during the past year, Jim, it's been crazy. Right. I think just on a lot of levels, like, just the whole COVID thing has been crazy. The division in our politics has taken a lot of my time just getting my head wrapped around like what is happening. And then obviously some of the stuff that's come down the pipe, divides families and friends. And so it's been one of, I think, probably definitely the most stressful year I've experienced. And I think NuCalm has absolutely been an incredible, godsend for me just to navigate the past year. But what's also interesting is looking back, 2 years of kind of where my stress level was then and what I could handle, right? And how now I can just move through things a lot easier. Definitely not perfect. I come unglued like every human. But I move through stuff a lot faster than I did to you? And it's literally 2 years to the month.
Well, let me share with the audience why, because it sounds too good to be true and it sounds
Yeah.
like a miracle. And part of NuCalm, I think, may be a miracle. In looking at reverse engineering and figuring out Blake's invention, we have 52 of the world's top academicians, doctors, and research scientists. And we're talking about NASA scientists and Harvard Medical School folks and mathematical field medal honors. We're talking about some super sophisticated humans, and nobody has been able to figure out the meticulous design of what was invented. So that to me is kind of the miracle side. NuCalm is biochemistry and physics. And every time you do it, it takes 20, 30, 40 minutes. You find a nice, comfortable place, right? You can't do it in the middle of the street. You can't do it in a dark alleyway. Your central nervous system won't allow you to relax. So you want to be in a safe place, like the comfort of your bed or a hotel bed or a lobby of a hotel or an airplane seat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you want to be comfortable. You get comfortable. You apply a biosignal processing disc to your left wrist. You put an eye mask on, and you choose a neuroacoustic software track. And we'll explain a little bit more depth on what these elements are. But it's really easy to self-administer. It takes about 15 seconds. Then you lie down. Your mind wanders for the first few minutes, and you may even feel very rigid, right? Especially if it's a high caffeine, high oriented, high kick-ass day. And then all of a sudden you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the elevator say, hey, let's go down to theta, and your body separates. You fall into the bed. Your hands may twitch, and you may feel like tingling in your hands and feet. That's oxygen-rich red blood cells going to the entire body. And your body just goes into this healing state, and it may be lucid dreaming, and you may see colors, and there's a lot of things that happen as we liberate your subconscious. And then all of a sudden, time goes. You have no idea how long, and you become reacquainted with your surroundings. You're done. You've had your restoration that your body and brain needs, and you just get up. And anywhere from 28 to 32 minutes is the norm if you're in a good place of balance. And if you're doing it longer, you're not. That's just the way it is. So I just came off a 13-day business trip. 3 of the nights I only got 3 hours of sleep thanks to my Aura ring. You wake up, it says, hey, you slept 52, your sleep score is 52. One time recently, I don't need an Aura ring to tell me I slept like shit. I kind of know, but one of these nights, I only got like 2.5 hours sleep. It didn't register sleep. It said I took a nap.
Yeah. I don't know how you function on 3 or 4 hours a night of sleep. If I only got 3 or 4 hours, I'd be a wreck.
But not only function, presenting media podcasts 16, 17, 18 hours days in a row, working with the military, doing a spa hotel thing. It was nuts. But so in that arena, I may NuCalm for 70 minutes. It's just what I need. And I tell people, I said, listen, when you sit down for a meal and you eat at a decent pace and you chew your food, your body tells you when you're full. NuCalm does the same thing. Your brain knows when it's
it knows when it knows when you're done.
So that's NuCalm. And over the course of time, you've been doing it 2 years to this month. And the reason that you can go through life easier, like, spreading out peanut butter, it's simply the body balancing the autonomic nervous system. And when you have balance between the stress response and the rest response, you are less apt to be triggered by things that used to trigger you.
Yeah.
It gives you the opportunity to respond to stress instead of react. And that's a really important element as we think through how we want to behave in our life, how we want to be a participant in this life journey, how we want to be a lover, a friend, a spouse, a dad, a son, whatever that is. We're better when we're less reactionary and able to respond. And this is not a miracle how this happens. This happens because every time you NuCalm, we're oxygenating key areas of your brain that allow you to create what's called neuronal coherence and new cognition. And things that normally would bother you won't, simply because there's a lot of oxygen-rich red blood cells in your prefrontal cortex. And this area of our brain, our forehead, is what separates us from primates. When we are triggered and we're activating this primordial part of our brain, featured around the amygdala, we lose oxygen-rich red blood cells from here because the brain is taking all its resources to go down this path of survival. And it manifests in depression, anxiety, fear, stress, and worry. That's what's happened to you. Mm-hmm. Nothing besides simply getting into a habit of balancing your autonomic nervous system so that you are not the victim of sabotage by your central nervous system, pinging your autonomic nervous system to activate your fight or flight response on a whim. And most of the time, we're triggered by stuff that has no consequence. It's this
Yeah.
manifestation, a schema of things in our past. We're like, I recognize that. I'm going to crush it.
Yeah. So, Jim, quick question on trauma. Let's say you're a NuCalm user, and then you have a series of traumatic events, right? Like several nights of bad sleep in, a 3 month period, something like that, due to stress in your life, whatever could be the cause. Um, how does NuCalm kind of eventually over time help you kind of recover from that trauma? Because trauma's, like if you've had a bad night of sleep, the next night you think, oh, am I gonna fall asleep? That's then
Right.
the monkey mind starts going. So
Right.
whether it's sleep
That's the
trauma
fear.
or
That's the fear response.
yeah.
That's your central nervous system says, shit, it's getting dark. Am I going to struggle again? And it creates anticipatory anxiety.
Hmm.
It creates cortisol. It limits your melatonin production, your GABA production, and you struggle. That's right. So trauma, the continuum of trauma can be anything from the theater of war and seeing things your brain can't
Yeah,
process
it's a good
to
example.
being sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. It could be long-term trauma, it could be short-term trauma. Doesn't matter. But what happens with NuCalm is the path is all through oxygenation of the key areas of the brain. So earlier I said, hey, PTSD, there is an alarming physiological change. In fact, that the shrunken blood flow to the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex create this everlasting quest of perseverating over memories that elicit a physiological state of anxiety. NuCalm, first of all, in the experience of NuCalm, it is physiologically impossible to have an anxious response. Your body cannot elicit an anxious response when your brainwave functions at 4 hertz.
Hmm.
Your mind can think through the trauma. Your body can't activate. That's really important. So for that 30, 40, 50 minutes of time in that day, you're actually getting restoration and recovery that otherwise you're not getting, and you're getting peace of mind. Over time, repeated use of NuCalm will begin to create oxygenation to the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex and allow you to separate the memory from the fight or flight response.
Mm.
This is amazing. 2 days ago, I did a town hall for about 71 minutes focused on PTSD with our veteran community, the DoD and active military, and first responders, all of whom, by choice of their career, have put themselves in a space where they're constantly have their foot on the accelerator. They have to live a life of reaction, on demand, high cortisol, high adrenaline, let me perform all the time. If you're a firefighter, you're on a 48-hour shift. You can't really override the diurnal aspect of humanity where you need to sleep when the sun goes down, right?
Hmm.
And we override this, but we fail to understand the consequences. The consequences are not good. So over the course of time, NuCalm has an incredible, fast approach to taking care of you because, again, your body covets balance. Your
Hmm.
body knows how to get there. We have to resolve cortisol in the monkey mind, and NuCalm does that. NuCalm takes your monkey mind, puts it in a different room, and says, "You go sit over there for a
It does.
while. Let me take
And
care of you."
yeah, and what's amazing? I've done it again, as I said, for 2 years. It works every time without fail. I don't care how stressed out I am, what's going on. It works every time. And typically, my usage pattern, Jim, is I'll wake up in the morning and I'll do a 70-minute session just to start my day. Um, and then usually around 3:30, 4 o'clock, I'll do a 30-minute session. Sometimes if I need a quick recharge, I'll do a 20-minute session around noon. And that's been you know, pretty much my pattern for.
That sounds absolutely delicious, and I wish I could mimic that pattern.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds fantastic. So there's no doubt that you're getting to a place of just really, you're very happy in your skin. You're very comfortable and conscious and self-aware of your life.
yeah,
That doesn't happen to most people because most people have their foot on the accelerator and they're looking in the rearview mirror all the time. It's like,
yeah. Well, what's interesting too, Jim, is I'm super passionate about wellness, and I do a lot of things. And I would have considered myself 2 years ago fairly self-aware, I think, relative. But this is definitely taking it to a new level. So thanks to you and the team for working so hard.
yeah, it's not here for me to judge, but I can share with you a cool example. 6 years ago, we started working with monks. So being a man of data, I love data. In God we trust, everybody else bring data. Okay. But I didn't invent NuCalm. So I have no emotional attachment to it. There's no ego associated with NuCalm. I love to see what can this do, what can it do. That's why I found an advisory board and built an advisory board of people that we gave them nothing. They paid for NuCalm. We gave literally no research design, no freebies. You guys figure this out. Tell me it works or doesn't work. 6 years ago, in this everlasting quest of constant intellectual curiosity, we started working with monks. Flew out to LA, worked with monks. 10 days later, flew back. And I was wholly expecting them to be like, hey, nice, thanks, but no thanks. And as soon as I sat down, I said, hey, so what do you guys think of NuCalm? They looked at me and said, we love it. And I thought to myself, what?
Yeah.
Why? And they're like, because we're human. So humans are humans, and it doesn't matter the magnitude of consciousness. A monk, as they said, I still, as a monk, even though I've meditated for 100,000 hours and have dedicated my life to service, I still get bored. I still have to go through a checklist. I still have to take all these steps in meditation. When we do NuCalm first, it accelerates us through all of that stuff and gets us to this sweet spot of creativity and oneness and connectivity. So
Yeah.
even the best meditator, even the person who's so self-aware, is going to get benefit from NuCalm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think NuCalm just, makes your meditation better, right? When I do
Yes.
discrete meditation and I sit down, I don't have NuCalm on, I'm just being silent or still or meditating. It's better. It's quicker.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
And I don't meditate. I did martial arts for 20 years, and part of martial arts is to meditate, because otherwise you're just going to be a testosterone, arrogant, aggressive lunatic. And I sucked at meditation. In fact, I had a whole shame cycle where I feared even doing it, because every time I try to do it, I'd be spinning and thinking about my problems and having a panic attack. I was like, this is terrible. I am not a good meditator. And I was raised by two psychotherapists, kind of hippies, right? So I met the Maharishi in 1977. I had my own mantra, and I had an identical twin brother. And we would walk around in a circle while our parents were meditating, and we'd be like slap boxing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Meditation is not my bag. I'm never going to be good at it. I don't have to feel ashamed of it anymore. And it's just, that's just me. Okay, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I have NuCalm, and NuCalm allows me to get to a place without fail, without effort, and allows me to go on this journey. I just want to be a better me. And 12 years ago, I'm not proud of the person I was. I was a hard driver. I'm very ambitious, AAA personality, analytical, bright, hardworking, direct, East Coast Wall Street banker. I'm going to give it to you. Now, no, none of that.
Yeah.
No expectation. I'm here to show up. I love life. I pay attention to things instead of driving things. I control almost nothing in my life except for my bowels. And that's the way life should be, right?
Yeah.
Life should be relinquish control and see what the universe has in store for you, because the universe has a lot going on for you. And when you are stressed out and not self-aware, you pay attention to none of it. And you just move through at this pace where you're just accelerating this life of perpetual insecurity, perpetual lack of meeting your own expectations, and disappointment and death. I don't want to die like that. So I'm thrilled to live
one of
like
the things that has attracted me to NuCalm and what you're doing is right? You've got a pretty good Rolodex, Jim.
do.
But you're always present, down to earth, want to help people, and I don't ever sense there's a chip on your shoulder. So
Never. There never really was a chip, but there was always kind of a fear of failure and just in a really aggressive, ambitious attitude. When I was taking over companies, I was like Doogie Howser. I have a deep voice, and then I'd show up in the boardroom, and we'd be taking over the company, and people were like, "Where's Mr. Poole?" I'm right here. I'm 33 years old. So, there was a lot of things in my history of my existence of being impatient, judgmental, and just a kid.
Yeah,
I'm no longer that kid.
So,
we're there.
All right. So, Jim, just to recap this first section, then. So, NuCalm is a neuroacoustic app that people can use on their phone in concert with headphones. The biosignaling disc that stimulates GABA, the production of GABA, which reduces cortisol, and basically an eye mask, right, that blocks the light.
Yes.
That suspends the brain in sort of theta alpha.
Yes.
Allow blood flow to the prefrontal cortex to heal the brain, so you can move beyond your stress and your trauma and better handle what you got coming at you in life.
It's a systematic approach where 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. 1 + 1 + 1 equals like 7.
Yeah.
And it works every time. And the beauty of it is your brain and body communicate two ways and only two ways: chemical messaging and electrical messaging. The biosignal processing disc on your wrist is the chemical messaging. The neuroacoustic software that you access through the app is the electrical signaling. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now you've added these crazy other features to the app. So if I go into my NuCalm app on my phone, I just completed a session. Here we go, baby.
Boom.
All right. So you've got Ignite Warrior Brain, which is this one here, and then Deep Sleep. So let's jump into Ignite Warrior Brain. Right now, you were nice enough to give me a beta version of this several months ago.
Yeah.
But I've used Ignite Warrior Brain. So for example, today I got up, I went for a walk, had a cup of coffee, did some journaling, and then hit the yoga. And I'm fortunate I have a biocharger here. So I put on the biocharger, I put on my AirPods, queued up my yoga mat and hit NuCalm Ignite. And the way I went for 20 minutes. And it was awesome.
Yes.
So what is Ignite? What does it do to the brain? And how does it help people perform better regardless of what they're doing?
Ha ha ha. Ignite's incredible, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay. So let's take a step back and let's talk about frequency, physics, vibration, resonance, things that people won't understand, but this is just life. In the human function and how the human works, you have a 41 hertz range of frequency, 41 hertz of brainwave frequency. So let's go through this. At the slowest waveform, 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz is deep sleep. Deep sleep is dreamless, like comatose like sleep. Okay. So for those of you who have kids and your kid falls asleep on the couch for like 20 minutes, they slip into deep sleep first. They're almost impossible to pick up. It's like the force of gravity makes a 100-pound kid feel like they're 250 pounds. That's deep sleep. Dreamless like deep sleep, body restoring. Theta is 4 hertz to 7 hertz. And theta is the healing zone just above deep sleep. Second stage of sleep and lucid dream state. Alpha is 12 hertz to 8 hertz. And alpha is synonymous with creativity, being in the zone, transcendental meditation, and relaxation. Now, interestingly enough, Eric, the Schumann resonance, which is the magnetic rotation of the Earth, is 7.83 hertz. The human body cavity resonates at 7.83 hertz. So people have shared with folks, certainly Dr. Steven Sinatra is a world expert on grounding. And people are like, hey, I ground. And you say, well, why? And they don't know why. Well, I'm going to tell you why you do it. We have lost connectivity to the earth, and the geometry of the universe is really important to our DNA, our healing, and our structure. So when I take off my socks and shoes and I put my bare feet on the earth, right, to grass, not pavement, I'm picking up the Schumann resonance, which is a resonance at 7.83 hertz. That's grounding, and that's why you do it. So alpha and theta, between those two at 7.83 hertz, is the Earth's magnetic rotation, the connectivity to our world, and the grounding force, and also the resonance of the body cavity. That's pretty incredible. When we jump up from alpha, beta is the largest range of human function when it comes to brainwave. Now, beta is a very large range, about 28 frequencies. From 13 to 15 hertz is alert functioning brain. 15 to 20 hertz is focus. So when your brainwave function is 15 to 20 hertz, you're focused, no distractions. 20 to 25 hertz is anxious, anticipatory anxiety. 25 to 30 is, yeah, you're having a hard time, man. Your heart's palpitating and you're a little bit losing your marbles. And then 30 to 38, you are absolutely in fight or flight, full-blown panic attack. And then comes gamma. This is fascinating. You mean above the anxiety scale? There's another little band? Yeah, gamma, 39 to 41 hertz. Gamma brainwave function is synonymous with higher consciousness, activation of the sensory motor rhythm, and increasing your olfactory, your peripheral vision, and your musculature. It's absolutely setting you up for high intensity, mistake-free focus performance of any kind. So if that's the range, 41 hertz to 0.5 hertz, the beauty of Blake's ability to figure stuff out, and probably the nature of being a naturopath, quantum physicist, neuroscientist, he thought through all of these things. And, humans are amazing, but we're pedestrian and dogmatic in our thinking, and we're creatures of habit. We don't evolve that quickly because we're steadfast to what we know to be normal. So historically, Eric, if we wanted to activate our brain, there's a few things we can do. We can go for exercise. We can drink coffee. Now you can drink energy drinks and all this sugar induced, caffeine bullet stuff. Okay, great. You're using an exogenous force to increase your brainwave frequency. Same holds true for the opposite. If I want to slow down my brainwave frequency, I might sit and read a book. I might have a glass of warm milk, whatever that is. Think about that. I want to do something. I want a physiological outcome and behavior, and I have to go bring something externally into my body. Blake said, no. How about if we just dial up and down the brainwave frequency? That's a much easier way. Hello, that's what he did. So this 31-year invention path started with NuCalm because NuCalm addressed a need so profound around stress, the negative consequence of stress, and poor sleep. But in reality, we built a platform. We started with NuCalm 1.0, then went to 2.0, 3.0. And in doing this, we built a software platform. And this software platform is patented, illustrating to the world that what we've created previously never existed on Earth and is highly efficacious with irrefutable quantified evidence. Wow. The balls of a company to do a patent basically goes to the USPTO, convinces an attorney who's agnostic to any of this. What you've done is what you've done. And we showcase what we've done. So the world knows what we've done. But I challenge the world to try to figure out what Dr. Holloway invented, because nobody today in the last 20 years of this company's existence has been able to figure it out. That's how complex the science is. So there's a software platform. This software platform is designed to create a guide to your brainwave frequency, to guide you up or guide you down. And there's a lot of complexity in there. There's algorithms, there's physics, there's a mathematical pitch and frequency matrix, there's binaural signal processing, there's isochronic waveform. What? People don't even know what I'm talking about. There's a lot that goes in here because we are going to trick the human brain, and the human brain is the most complex organ in the history of this planet. That is what we've done. So 6 years ago, a Premier League team called me and said, hey, Mr. Poole, we love NuCalm. Our players are healing faster. They're, these bumps and bruises and muscle strains, they're just going away. Mentally, they're clear. If they have a bad game, the next day they feel better. It's amazing. We love NuCalm. But can you make us something that'll get our players excited to get on the pitch, like jacked up? So me having the confidence, knowing I have the best scientists in the world, what do I say? Of course we can. I don't know if we can or not. I hang up with them. I called Dr. Holloway. I said, Blake, interesting request. Can we do this? He said, of course we can. 6 months later, he submitted to me a platform of a 15-minute physics file that starts the brainwave function at 15 hertz, the lower end of focus, and then drives you up. And the last 3 minutes of Ignite is pure warrior brain and 40 hertz. We're taking you to this place of mistake-free, high-intense focus. It's really a place of absolute certainty, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it so when you say warrior brain, is that a mix of beta and this gamma, or is it just
it's all gamma? So the last 3 minutes is pure gamma, 40 hertz, this really tight band of an amazing journey that most humans don't get to. Most humans don't oscillate in gamma. Okay.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you're between 15 and 20 for
15, and you drive up. So the matrix starts at 15. And then it takes us a while. You can't just take the brain to a certain place. You have to get there, right?
Okay.
So if it's a 15-minute track, say it's certainty. Certainty is like what, 12 minutes and 48 seconds?
Something like that, yeah.
So the first few minutes are 15, and then we move you up, move you up, move you up. And the last 3 minutes of all 3 Ignite Warrior Brain tracks is pure 40 hertz warrior brain. So if you're listening to it,
into the 20s,
yes,
30s,
yes,
up to about 40.
Yeah. It's crazy,
Amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So
But you
what
don't
I've
ever
noticed,
feel anxious, right? So you talked about some of these ranges.
you don't feel anxious, which is wild. That's really impressive to me. You don't feel anxious. With coffee, you get coffee gut, you get too much acid in your gut, you're compromising your microbiome, you're creating, immunosuppressive disease function in your gut. You also can get agitated, your breath smells, and you're on the toilet. Okay, so there's some side effects to drinking coffee. And I love coffee. Ignite, there's no side effect, with exception. If you put a headphone on and listen to like an hour straight of Ignite, you may feel like agitated, so amped up. You're like, oh, I got to do something, right?
Yeah.
That's happened to me on a couple occasions where I literally had to go NuCalm because I thought my head was going to pop off.
I did it 20 minutes this morning. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready. I'm good.
And what's interesting, isn't it, is it lasts for so long. The really pure intensity may last 30 minutes to an hour, but that clarity and that conviction and absolute certainty lasts for hours. That's what amazes me.
Yeah.
When I NuCalm first, let me reset, let me recalibrate, let me give myself balance. Okay. Because in balance, then I can tip the scale faster. Once I'm in balance, give me Ignite, and I'm going to tell you what I can get done. I can work 16, 17 hours in a day, get a very little sleep, get up, do NuCalm, make up for the sleep debt that I created the night before, then get on Ignite and get on stage and crush it. And it doesn't make sense. I don't stop to think, how am I doing this? Because I've been doing it for 13 years, but it doesn't make any sense. Someone was on a call with me a couple months ago, CEO company, and interrupted me midstream and said, "You're like a super species." And I was like, I know. Isn't it crazy? I said, but I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I just happen to have access to this whole tool chest where if I want to sleep, I'll put deep sleep on. If I want to restore and recover, I'll put rescue on. If I want to ignite, I'll put ignite on. So it's been this tool chest for me. So here's what's interesting and probably pretty admirable. I think you're going to like this. We've had Ignite for over 6 years, Eric.
Wow.
6 years. Now, the human brain and the human being doesn't understand rest, recuperation, theta brainwave function. I can't tell you what it feels like. You can just experience it. But even when you experience it, you're like, okay, that's great. And over the course of time, the cumulative benefit, wow, that's really great. But you do Ignite once, you're like, I fucking love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have had this for 6 years, but we've had the discipline to not launch it because we weren't ready. We've been able to do amazing things for humanity for years, but as a small neuroscience company, we're anywhere from 6 employees to 100. We never had the capability to launch this stuff. We didn't have the platform. We had to start with NuCalm. NuCalm used to be a $5,995 complicated 4-component class 3 medical device. FDA, Health Canada, NSF certified for sport, military, patents, 2 million surgical procedures, a lot of science and a lot of regulatory. And in doing this, we said, we can't really solve the problems we want to solve and really arm humanity with this whole liberation of stress at $6,000 and 4 components. 6 years ago, April of 2015, we started this journey to say, we got to lower the price. And we got to get rid of this medical device and the FDA and get to a place that's easy. Blake invented the biosignal processing disc that liberated us from all the chewable supplement, the transdermal cream, the stimulation device. And that's what allowed us the platform in October of 2020 to go from a $6,000 medical device to a subscription model at $1.33 a day. Whoa, that's a big transformation. That is what gave us the strength, courage, and conviction to start with this platform. And then in April, we did a sneak peek of Ignite. And just this Monday, November 15, 2021, we launched the premium subscription where you now have access to change your mental state on demand, without drugs, without side effects, and without compromise. But to get there, it took a long time. So the patience and the discipline and the persistence is amazing. And I did not have this 20 years ago. I would be going nuts knowing I'm sitting on Ignite Warrior Brain and Deep Sleep. Deep Sleep we've had for 8 years. But you can't launch something if the world isn't ready and you're not ready. And mediocrity is not our game. We're not coming that way. So we've been sitting on this and using this in a methodical way for a long time. From 2016 to October 2020, we had all of these elements, 998 military operators from Special Forces to ASOC Special Operations Command, Navy SEALs, Border Patrol, BORTAC, BORSTAR, FBI, HRT, Special, Secret Service. They had access to this in a confidential beta realm, like I gave to you.
Yeah, you did.
And then 50 professional sports teams, some of the best athletes in the world. They've all had access to this. It was not commercially available. You signed an NDA, and you noticed every 90 days we had to, make a change to it because it was in this beta on the Apple, sandbox. We did that because we had to, and it's the right thing to do. Now we're here and it's available. Deep Sleep we've had for 8 years. I've used Deep Sleep 8 years every day of my life. I travel on an iPad, and every night I listen to Deep Sleep, and my sleep latency, according to my Oura Ring, is 1 to 2 minutes. My Deep Sleep's insane. So sleep science is relatively new. It's only about 32 years. As a science, Eric, sleep is 32 years. It's disgusting. How can we only be studying
It's the
sleep?
single most important human thing, I think. I mean, if there's anything that changes my behavior, is a good night of sleep.
Exactly. It's crazy, isn't it? We're blind to the obvious, intuitively obvious to the casual bystander. Certainly an alien was like, how come you guys don't know anything about this really important element of your life? But when I look at my sleep on my Oura Ring, I can sleep 4, 5, 6 hours. 52 to 58% of that sleep is deep and REM. That's incredible. That's like a 12-year-old boy. It's like a 12-year-old boy's. So yeah, maybe I slept 4 hours and 11 minutes last night, but 60% of it is deep and REM. So I get up and I'm still refreshed. It doesn't make sense. It's because with NuCalm, I improve my REM and I improve the quality of my sleep. And with Deep Sleep, I decelerate my brainwave frequency and I put me in deep sleep sooner. That's the method. So NuCalm is this awesome historical flagship product where we put our flag in the sand in November of 2009. We sold $25 million of a very complicated FDA medical device with no marketing because it worked, and it proliferated. It proliferated across the military, professional athletes, pilots, cancer patients, doctors. Great. But we've always known we have a platform in the world. We can change how we operate by dialing up or down your brainwave function with physics. So here's where we're at today. November 15, 2021, we launched this premium subscription. You can use NuCalm. NuCalm is amazing. NuCalm is predictable. NuCalm will help you restore, recover, increase your resilience, increase your immune strength, increase your psychological, physical, and emotional well-being, and make you a better human being, and make you happy to live the life you're living. Awesome. Now you also have Ignite. Ignite doesn't require a disc, and it doesn't require an eye mask. Why is that? Because the brain's complicated, Jim. Well, in NuCalm, Eric, we're going against inertia. When daylight comes and cortisol is at its highest in the morning, you're up, man. I don't want to take a nap. I don't. My brain wants to go. So you're telling me you're going to put me back down for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes? Well, you better bring a tank to a knife fight because I'm coming. That's why with NuCalm, we need the biochemistry of the biosignal processing disc and the eye mask. That's that. But with Ignite, we're going with inertia. It's daylight. You want to activate, you put a headphone on, and from 13, 14, 15 hertz, we simply take you up. We say, hey, let's take my hand, and we're going to guide you to the promised land of this high intensity, mistake-free focus zone called 40 hertz gamma brainwave. We don't need anything else. So it's really easy to use. Headphones and the app.
Yeah, it's super easy. And I kick it off and you can loop it, if you want. So let me ask you a few questions. When does someone want to use Ignite? Like what type of task does it pair well with?
Awesome. I can share with you my own personal experience. You have your own personal experience, and I can also share with you what athletes do in the military. In training itself, endurance, strength, cardio, while you're working out, put earbuds in and listen to Ignite. It's amazing. It's predictable. And every time you do it, you're going to see a 20 to 25% increase in your output. And it's not up for debate. All these biophysical measures and this quantified self creates this really cool litmus where I can get on the Peloton and listen to Ali Love walk me through 30 minutes of a hit. Okay, great. And I can see my output, 429 kilowatts or whatever. I can do a scenic ride the next day, 30 minutes, and my output's 20% higher. That's the beauty of Ignite Warrior Brain.
Mm.
You can see it through your endurance. You can see it through just pushing through brick walls, and you can see it through your strength. So Ignite is used in performance, in activity. Number one. Number two, it can be used for pre-workout. So a lot of us don't have the opportunity to work out first thing in the morning, whether we have kid duty or whatever it is. And maybe we work out at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, but invariably at 3:30, if I'm scheduled to work out at 4, my brain starts coming up with excuses why I shouldn't do it today and I can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't tolerate that. I don't even have that dialogue. My itty bitty shitty committee has been so diminished. I don't really work with it. So I'm not even going to entertain that. I put Ignite on and I go put my workout clothes on without even giving it a second thought. So I've learned to kind of manipulate that aspect of my life and the obstacles we put in our way. You can also use it when you need to simply pump yourself up for some writing. So right now it's like 5:13 Eastern time. It's dark because daylight savings is gone. Okay. And maybe I need to write. Maybe I need to get off this phone and do some writing. I might put Ignite on just to kind of focus me for the next couple hours. I might put Ignite on for my walk. We had a woman call us up. It was like, Ignite is amazing. I was walking through my neighborhood and halfway through the track, I found myself running. I hate running. I don't even know how to run.
Yeah.
So Ignite can be used anytime you want high intensity, mistake-free focus, absolute certainty. You're going on podium, you're doing a presentation, you're walking down the streets of New York, you're going to raise money, you got a big meeting, whatever it is, you want to be in the zone on demand, Ignite's your jam. Okay.
So question: how late in the day can you use it, or like what's
I would not use it after 7 o'clock. That seems to be the witching hour for most humans. The few times that I find myself listening to it in my office, I'm trouble trying to get to sleep. Okay, even with deep sleep, I'm a little too amped up. So 7 o'clock at night is probably the last time you want to listen to it. Stop listening to it. You can listen to it 2, 3, 4 times in the day if you want. Stop listening to it if you start feeling like you're over caffeinated. Okay, that's kind of your natural biorhythm.
Yeah.
But for the most part, what we tell people and kind of the recipe that we've seen to be really successful is get up in the morning, do NuCalm, or do NuCalm in the afternoon, and then do Ignite. Calibrate, reset, restore your body, your mind, and your spirit, and then do Ignite to activate and crush it. And then when you're done with your workout, then do NuCalm again. So the professional athlete, when it's not a game day, might have a skate around or practice, and then they have nap time. That's a beautiful time to do NuCalm. In the morning, they're probably NuCalming because their schedule's weird and they're on a jet or whatever they're doing. They'll NuCalm in the morning, make up for their sleep debt, go do their thing, eat, Ignite, go to their practice. After that, they NuCalm again, and that's that. So that's their routine. Deep sleep is even easier to use than Ignite Warrior Brain because you don't even need headphones. We designed this as such because people don't want to go to sleep with headphones in, right? Just like people don't want to go to sleep with CPAP machines on, right? So why would we want to create something that we know is going to be inconvenient and people aren't going to habitualize? So when you're thinking about brainwave frequency and managing your brainwave frequency, whether you're dialing up, dialing down, sugar dials you up, caffeine dials you up, warm milk dials you down, mozzarella cheese dials you down, green tea dials you down. Okay, when you think about these elements, there's something called binaural signal processing, created or discovered by a German scientist in 1839. It showcases the compensatory nature of the human brain. And so if I place 512 hertz in my right ear and 500 in my left ear, it reaches the caudate nucleus of the midbrain. And when it reaches this area that's signaling and processing the signal, when there's a disconnect and a disharmony, the brain says, wait a second, this needs to be in synchrony. And what the brain does in its infinite awesomeness is it subtracts the difference. So you're left with 12 hertz. That's the cool aspect of binaural beat and binaural signal processing. We use binaural signal processing as part of the physics platform to deliver the pattern to the brain. So for NuCalm and Ignite, you need to wear headphones. But there's also a waveform called isochronic, and isochronic presents a pattern in a manner that's effectively guiding your brainwave function through the air, not with headphones. So this isochronic waveform is what we built deep sleep in. So I go to my bed on my iPad, I open up the app, I hit deep sleep, and now you see you can pick from the 3 tracks: Summer Rain, Sleep Melodies, and White Noise. I particularly like the Sleep Melodies. I put that on. within a minute or two, I'm done. I'm gone. I don't remember how I fell asleep. I just sleep really hard. And then I wake up at 3 a.m. to pee because I'm 52 years old. So that's how this works, man. We've been at this for 31 years. The invention path started. The company was founded 20 years ago. We've been commercially active for 12 years. NuCalm was our flagship product, very complicated, expensive medical device. Then we liberated from there, reduced the price 99%, created a subscription model, launched that on October 14, 2020. And then now, November 15, 2021, we brought to market Ignite Warrior Brain, 6 years in the making, and Deep Sleep, 8 years in the making. And we have 3 elements now that can literally help you manage your brainwave function from the highest levels of intensity to restoration recovery and to the deepest levels of sleep. So of the 41 hertz brainwave function that's commensurate with your behavior, we have all aspects of it. Boom.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, so a couple clarifying questions. So just to repeat, Deep Sleep is now a track. You can use it on your phone. You use it on your iPad. So is that what device would you recommend to use?
I do iPad only because we all create habits and patterns without even thinking about it. And I'm a businessman and I run a global business. Okay. So I'll get calls from people in Pakistan and India and Russia and China. And I was
you want to shut your phone off. Is that what you
exactly? So here's what I learned. So I'm traveling all the time. I travel about 250 to 300 days a year. And it's a lot. And I do need my rest. And my phone was always on. I don't know why. It was a security blanket or whatever. And at some point, I think I was in Utah about 4 or 5 years ago, I realized, wait a second, why am I allowing an external force that I have no control over to wake me up when nothing I'm going to solve anyway? So I learned to turn off my phone. My phone doesn't come to the bedroom. We have no technology in the bedroom, and our 3 girls have no technology in the bedroom. There's a home for everyone's phone, and then there's no TVs in the bedrooms. That's hello, I'm the CEO of a neuroscience company with expertise in sleep and stress management. So for me, an iPad is the easiest method because the speaker's decent and I just put it on. It's on the nightstand next to the bed and voila, it's done. Historically, before the app, I had imprinted on a CD, the master demo Deep Sleep track. And I'll just put it in this old Sony system that seems rather obsolete, like an 8-track now. So that's what I would do. I would have an iPad. Now, how you can access NuCalm, $5,995 gone. It's obsolete. It's the way of the dinosaur. And so we built this whole method to make it really easy and to basically adhere to anybody's budget. And what I'd like to say is, listen, we have a monthly subscription. We have monthly NuCalm and we have monthly premium. Monthly is, hey, I'm not really sure if this is going to work for me or not. So I'd like to take you out on a date and kiss you. Okay, do the monthly. The annual NuCalm and the annual premium is let's date, man. Let's change our status on our Facebook stuff and let's date. And then if you're good and you just want to move in and make babies, that's a lifetime. So we made it easy for people to understand. For as little as $1.67 a day, you can have access to NuCalm. The premium subscription is the only way to access NuCalm plus Ignite Warrior Brain plus Deep Sleep. We have 3 separate products, and to make things easier for the consumer, instead of taking 3 products and creating 3 separate business units, 3 separate apps, 3 separate subscriptions, we said, no, let's just create it all in one, have a NuCalm separate and have premium. That's what we've done. That's what we launched this past Monday. So NuCalm is $49.99. It gets you 10 biosignal processing discs a month. You can buy discs, a la carte if you want. So it's 10 NuCalm experiences a month. And then as you build a habit and you start saying, hey, I want to use this every day, you just buy more discs, but you have access to the app the whole time. The premium subscription is $129.99 a month. This is not inexpensive, but keep in mind, you're getting access to what used to be a $5,995 device on top of 2 other products that are equal, if not greater. Deep Sleep may end up being greater than NuCalm and Ignite Warrior Brain combined just because of the issues with sleep. Then there's the annual plan, and the annual plan simply multiplies the monthly by 12 and then gives you 2 months for free. So our promotional offer to you is say, hey, you want to do this for a year? We'll make it convenient for you and we'll give you a discount. You get 2 months free off each annual. And then the mastermind is $1,995. And the mastermind, we put all the value we can possibly put in there, maybe like shoving 10 pounds of poopy in a 2-pound bag. That's what we've done with Mastermind. Mastermind was born out of our chief business officer's desire to maintain a family-like business. From 2009 to 2020, Eric, we had about 7,500 doctors, pilots, professional athletes, celebrities who bought NuCalm. And when you have just that number of people, you kind of know everybody. And we had a great medical advisory board, and we could tap into people and get opinions, and they would literally help us build the product line. And when we went to the consumer and we said, hey, it's going to be $50 a month, we have 30,000 people on the platform. I don't know our customers anymore. And so that disconnect, I don't like, and it doesn't help us in the future product development. So we built a mastermind to have this kind of quid pro quo. We lowered the price by thousands of dollars from a $5,995 device to $1,995. We gave them lifetime access to NuCalm. So rescue, recharge, and reboot, all the tracks we build for the rest of your life, you have access to NuCalm, never taking it away. Then we gave them previews of Ignite Warrior Brain or Deep Sleep. Now we offer them 2 free years of Ignite Warrior Brain and Deep Sleep, which also costs $50 a month. You can't buy them separately. You also get the premium headphone, a travel bag, 120 biosignal processing discs, a copy of the NuCalm book written by Michael Gallitzer, where the foreword is authored by Tony Robbins and the preface is authored by the Yogananda monk, Brother Craig Marshall. And you get access to the Master Series, where on Thursday nights we interview world leaders and people who are influential in their respective fields of influence. That's Mastermind. So you can do a monthly NuCalm, a monthly premium, an annual NuCalm, an annual premium, or the Mastermind. There are 5 ways for you to join the NuCalm family. We've made it easy. We've made it comprehensive. And once you're in, you can upgrade, downgrade, side grade, anything you want.
Awesome. And so people so how do people purchase? Do they do it in app, or do they go to NuCalm.com and do it? How does that work?
I believe, well, you can do NuCalm.com, right? So the website's been redesigned. There's a lot of really good video assets in there, a ton of education. We used to be focused mostly on the medical community. So 2 years ago, we had a 321 page website. It was ridiculous. And it was all research, and it was all full white coat nerd alert. But what we found is that people don't really care about the science. They just want to know that there's science behind it. Great. We got the patents. We got the regulatory. We're good. We have 2 million surgical procedures with NuCalm. We're good. Then we moved to a consumer-friendly one when we launched in October 2020, but it was too consumer-friendly. It was too lean, not enough information. So we're kind of merging the two, and we're building a lot more content in there, mostly with video assets, because people, our attention span is constantly limited. So there you go. So you go to the website, you sign up. I believe in the app too. You can download the app, and people are like, hey, I download the app and I can't get access. Yeah, it's not a free app, bro. This is a Class 3 medical device that costs us $33 million and 31 years of invention. Hello, you have to go to the website. You have to join the family. So you can download the app for free, right? Then you can, I think in the app, you can actually go there as well and sign up.
Okay. All right. And then as far as a coupon code for the listeners, is that something we'll handle offline, or
yeah, let's handle that offline.
We'll put it in the
and
show
when
notes.
you when you do this, in the show notes, we'll do that. But for now, we will do a coupon code for your audience, and it'll be probably initials, and it'll be 10 off. The easiest way for us to do this, instead of having 5 codes, is just 10 off. So if it's 10% off, if it's 10% off Mastermind, you save $200. If it's 10% off the monthly NuCalm, it's only $5 because it's $50 investment. If it's the premium annual, it's $130 savings. It's our best code right now, and it's the code that we use with all of our kind of super affiliates and our top influencers like yourself.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much for the kind words. Okay, so we'll put that in the show notes. Appreciate it. So, okay, awesome. A couple house cleaning questions just to go back on some of the topics. So, back to Ignite. When you use Ignite, does it have any lasting effects on your brain beyond the day that you use it? Like, it's like NuCalm definitely works the brain over time. Does Ignite have?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think we'll ever do the research to that. The human brainwave function serves in a band, right? And there's always a movement to equilibrium. So I don't think over the course of time there'll be a cumulative benefit of spending time in 40 hertz, but I may be wrong. There's some research right now going on at Harvard Medical School, Rudy Tanzi, a neurologist, looking at 90 hertz for cleaning plaque and helping solve the issues with dementia. That's fascinating.
That is super fascinating.
Yeah, so maybe there is some benefit cumulative. And I don't know that to be the case. I do know that when we do ignite, and if you're on acute EEG or EEG, your brainwave oscillates up, right? It stays in that 40 hertz for a while and then works its way back down. So you
So you do get some lasting, throughout the day that you use it.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
If you used Ignite today for 20 minutes, I know you felt focused, energized, kind of
For
determined
sure.
for hours. For hours. That's
Yeah.
kind of how it works. And then it dissipates.
Okay. Awesome. And then what about the deep sleep? So I know it puts you in that deep REM sleep. Does it have a lasting effect on the brain?
It does. So deep sleep, similar to NuCalm, we're training you, and we're training kind of the abuse and the misuse of our own lives away from you. It's sad that we have to train ourselves for the onset of sleep and for the onset of sleep in the middle of the night when we wake up to pee. It's also sad that we have to train ourselves to prepare ourselves for sleep, right?
Yeah.
Most of us go until we pass out. That's not good living. Most of us go, and are tethered to our phones or have blue light stimulation in our bedroom through TV. That's not good. So NuCalm has a cumulative benefit, and think about it as training you to help you be in balance.
Yeah.
Every time you do it, it's training you.
Yeah, I've definitely found that with the core NuCalm.
Yep. And deep sleep is the same thing. So some people with really compromised sleep architecture, it may take a few listens or a week or two, but it's going to get you. The entrainment property and the guidance to that frequency down to 0.5 hertz is going to get you. It has me by the grip, right? I mean, there was a time where I was actually trying to watch a UFC fight a couple weekends ago, and the iPad almost fell on my face. I was like passing out in a puddle of drool. Like, wah. So deep sleep has a cumulative impact, not necessarily on the overall health. It's the cumulative impact on your ability to guide into deep sleep.
Yeah.
So you can see from my Aura ring at 52 years old, I shouldn't have 56% of my sleep be deep sleep and REM combined. It's amazing. It's like a miracle.
Yeah, I would love to get to that kind of percentage. So I guess I got some more cycles to go. Is there any like for us overachiever type A people, is there a speaker combination? Like if I use my HomePod, like is there any other combination that would help accelerate the effects of it? Or
no, I mean, you could, if you wanted for deep sleep, you could wear the biosignal processing disc and you could put the headphone on. If you could. Yes, you can. Yeah. So think about it as a continuum. Each of our tracks is isochronic and binaural signal processing. Each of our track, if you listen to Ignite with your computer speaker, you'll get jacked. You just don't get as jacked. Same thing holds true for the deep sleep. But to be honest with you, Eric, the deep sleep is so powerful to me, and I've been so entrained by 8 years of it. I literally fear like pooping in my bed if I put headphones on. I do.
All right. Well, tonight I am going to try. So basically what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to take my Apple AirPods, put them in, and then I have a sleep mask. That's a 360, right? And I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put on a biosignaling disc, and I'm going to hit deep sleep and see how I do.
Please text me tomorrow, because I know how you're going to do. You're probably going to sleep through tomorrow. I think it's amazing.
Will I wake up groggy?
No, you won't. The only time you'd wake up groggy is, and this happened to me a couple of times as well. I woke up at like 4:30 and I didn't have to be up till 6, and I put deep sleep on about an hour before I wanted to wake up. No,
that's not a good idea. Yeah.
No, it was like a melatonin hangover. I had a mental lethargy all day. I couldn't kickstart it. I couldn't get out. I was like, wow, that thing is powerful. You don't want to be oscillating in delta, that close to.
No, I wouldn't say. I would say 3. After 4 a.m.
That's what we tell people. 4 a.m. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But awesome. Before then, do it all you want.
Well, Jim, this has been great. I always appreciate connecting with you. Your wealth of knowledge, and super passionate about what you guys have created and sharing it with the world. So thanks for coming on. Is there
my pleasure.
Is there a question that I should have asked that didn't?
No, I mean, there's so much we can talk about because we're so void in the truth and the education of humans and what it means to be human. So we could talk all day, the challenges we have being human and how quick we are to judge everybody else for behavior that's got nothing to do with their behavior. It's got everything to do with the neural circuitry of 40 million years of evolution. It's pretty fascinating.
It's super fascinating. We could pull on that thread for a couple of hours. I would love to have that conversation sometime. So
let's do it. Have me back.
Okay. All right, Jim. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
All right. Be well. Take care, everybody.
Hey, folks, I just wanted to draw your attention to 3 things that I use and do every day without fail. The first is NuCalm, the subject of today's podcast. Do you want to reduce stress, increase your capacity for what life throws at you, and improve sleep? Without fail, 2 times every day, I use NuCalm to reset my nervous system, optimize sleep, and catch a second wind so I can fully show up in work and life. So you can learn more at NuCalm.com and use ES10OFF for 10% off a subscription. Again, that's ES10OFF for 10% off. Secondly, I use Healthy Gut and their digestive enzymes, pyrobutyrate, and HCl Guard every day with each of my meals. And they've been the best digestive enzymes, butyrate, and HCl products that I have used, hands down. I only recommend things that I use on a daily basis. So you can visit healthygut.com and use the discount code THRIVE for 50% off your first order. Lastly, are you looking to improve your energy and protect against EMF? What if you had a tuning fork of sorts for your home and your body that enhanced your energy, raised your vibration, and helped mitigate the effects of EMF and other environmental stressors? Well, my good friends over at Leela Q have created an amazing line of personal wearables and home units that will strengthen and enhance your life force to amazing new levels. I find I continue to need less supplements and other external support as I raise my own energy and mitigate the effects of environmental stressors like EMF. So there's a hyperlink in the show notes today that you can use for 15% off. So enjoy, and now onto the podcast. Thanks.